for the dignity of victims, dated this 24th day of March, 2021, from New York. The statement reads, today, we commemorate the life of Monsignor Oscar Romero, who was murdered for his vocal opposition to inequality, marginalization, and injustice in El Salvador. We honor all victims and survivors of gross human rights violations around the world. We reaffirm and celebrate their dignity by acknowledging their experiences, by renewing our commitment to justice and remedy for them, and by pledging to do everything in our power to prevent any recurrence of such crimes. Acknowledgement, justice, and prevention can only begin with uncovering and acknowledging the facts. Without truth, there can be no justice or reparation. A public accounting of the truth surrounding the perpetration of gross human rights abuses enables societies to address their underlying causes. Today, as we honor those who experience such abuses, let us reflect on what each of us can do to prevent serious human rights violations and conflict in our own societies. Let us reach out to others, listen to them, find common ground, and overcome divisions. The truth is an empowering and healing force. We embrace it for the past, the present, and the future. The message ends here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council. And we honor and recognize the dignity of victims of our own human rights violations here, that occurred in our own country for 22 years. Council, if we're ready with this afternoon's witness, you may please proceed.
Thank you very much. May the witness be sworn in, please.
I, Biran Mbye.
I, Biran Mbye.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I will speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me Allah.
You may be seated, please. Mr. Witness, welcome to the TRRC.
Thank you, Mr. Fall.
Mr. Witness, we allow for interpretation in one of the local languages. In which language would you wish your testimony to be interpreted into, assuming that you speak in English? Feel free to speak in whatever language you want to speak. Wolof, Mandinka, Jola, Sarahule. Feel free, Mafula, Serer. Feel free to speak in whatever language you want.
Wolof.
Wolof. Fantastic. So then we would have interpretation into the English language. The interpreter, the witness would speak in Wolof. So let's have interpretation from English into Wolof and vice versa. Mr. Witness, you have just taken an oath to speak the truth. It is an offense under the laws of this country and indeed under the laws of the TRRC to provide false or misleading information or to provide false statements under oath.
Dana nek nak xet loi ci rewi Gambia ak itamen li jëm ci wali satta yi ñuy doxale ci pencum TRRC pour waat ba paré nak di wax lo xamné ni deppot ak deug.
Do you understand that?
Ndax dégg nga?
I heard it very well.
I know you understand the English language, but I'll encourage you to respond after the interpretation.
Xamna nak ne dégg nga anglais bu baax waye nak sakku na nga xaar be dégg ñu lapato la ci lak yi.
And also avoid speaking at the same time with either me or the interpreter, because that would really create difficulties for the record.
te ñuy oytu itamen di ngay wax ci jamono bi nga xamee ne nii moom council bi mu ngi wax wala ñun ñi nga xam ne ñooy làppatoo bu ko defee nag suñ làkk yi suñ wax ji du warlante ndax dafa nekk loo xam ne nii dañ koy transcribe sottandeku ko.
Thank you for agreeing to testify before the commission.
ñu ngi laa gërëm nag ci ni nga nangoo pour ñëw teew ci kanam pencum TRRC.
You are called upon today to testify about the issue of the West African migrants.
ñu ngi la oo fii nag tey pour nga ñëw waxtaanee lu aju ci wàlli doxandeem yooyu nga xam ne ñu ngi jóge ko woon ci diwaani Afrique sowu jant.
Who came to the Gambia in July 2005.
ñëwoon nag fii ci réewi Gambia ci atum 2005 ci weeri July.
Are you ready to do that?
ndax pare nga pour wax.
pare na.
I'm ready. What are your full names?
naka nga tudd.
Biran Mbye.
Biran Mbye. Where were you born?
fan nga juddoo.
maa ngi juddoo Sarakunda.
I was born in Sarakunda. Where is that?
loolu fan la.
Sanjal.
Sabak Sanjal.
Upper Badibu.
Upper Badibu. All right. And where do you currently live?
jamono ji fan nga dëkk.
maa ngi dëkk Sukuta.
I'm living in Sukuta. And what's your date of birth?
ban bés nga juddu.
22nd February 58.
22nd February 1958. Could you provide us briefly with your biographical information, where you went to school?
ndax man nga ñoo wax ci lu gën a gaaw rek ci fi nga jàngee.
waaw xam naa ne dem naa school at Sinthiou Njabo Primary School.
I know that I went to school at Sinthiou Njabo Primary School.
Wow, repeat na suma common entrance twice, pasuma.
I repeated the common entrance twice. I did not pass.
For last stop.
And that was where I stopped. What did you do afterwards?
lan nga def gannaaw loolu.
Gannaaw loolu continue na si tool yi partly.
After that, I continued on the farms, on a partly.
Partly, liggéey naa ak suma uncle as cooperative secretary.
I worked with my uncle as cooperative secretary.
After all, liggéey naa ak xaritam tamin.
After that, I worked with his friend too.
mu ngi doon bindal gerte Pa Sanjali Bojang.
Who was buying groundnut at Pa Sanjali
Bojang.
Pa Sanjali Bojang.
Partly.
And then in 1981, did you take up any formal employment?
ndax ci atum 1981 ndax dal di nga dugg ci benn liggéey.
First of May 1981 la joined the field force.
I joined the field force on the 1st of May 1981. And then you did recruits training, correct?
ci loolu nag def nga njàng mu njëkk ci wàlli buntu liggéey service.
Wow.
Yes. For how long?
For 3 months.
For 3 months. And after that?
gannaaw loolu.
While amutoon passing out.
There was no passing out ceremony. Why?
Mu ngi coincide ak Kukoy Samba Sanyang school.
It coincided with the Kukoy Samba Sanyang school. And then what did you do what did they do with you, those recruits who were already trained?
ñooñu nag lan lañ def ak yéen gannaaw boo xam ne jàngal nañ leen service.
xam nga si jamono boobu activity yi bari woon nañ Fajara Barracks.
You know, during those days, there were many activities in the Fajara Barracks.
yaa ngi amoon detainees, mooy 81 detainees si camp bi.
They were detainees, the 1981 detainees in the camp.
am na tam ñu daan dem commission si training school bi.
There were others going to the commission at the training school.
Up to 82 lañ def gendarmerie training.
And it went up to 1982 when there was a gendarmerie training. So in the meantime, you guys were in limbo.
ci diggante boobu daal yéen kenn xamu leen ci loo leen nekk.
non xamuñu woon ci lan lañ nekk waaye ñu ngi doon liggéey nag.
Yes, we didn't know what we were doing, but we were working. Were you being paid at the time?
ndax ñu ngi leen daan fay jamono boobu.
ñu ngi daan fay.
Yes, we were paid. So in 1982, you were incorporated into the newly formed gendarmerie.
ci 1982 nag ci lañ leen dugal nag ci gendarmerie bu ees bi nga xam ne ni sosoon nañ ko fii ci réew mi.
waaw.
Yes.
Ak some other old hands you join them the training be.
And other old hands who were brought in, and we did the training together. And for how long was this training?
Training bi nak ci ban diir la tollu won.
Training muna nekk juróom-ñaari weer or juróom-ñetti weer am na ko.
It could be between 7 or 8 months. And what happened when you finished?
Lan mo xew nak gannaaw bu ngeen paré?
Then when pass out there, you post to different units.
When we passed out, we were deployed to various units.
Man mangi dem on Bikoi.
I went to Bikoi, which is Bravo Company.
Bravo Company.
Yes. All right. And what kind of responsibilities did you have there?
Yan façon liggéey ngeen doon def foofu noonu?
We don't them guard government installations.
We guard government installations. And tell us briefly your progression in.
Wax ñu tuuti nak sa mbiri yokkute nak ci liggéey bi.
Liggéey bi 1982 Bravo Company, then up to 83 October, still make a first class.
I was in Bravo Company in 82, and in October 1983, I was promoted to the rank of first class.
Then 1985 couple.
1985, I was a corporal.
Then acting sergeant, the same 85.
In the same year, 1985, I became an acting sergeant.
While still within Bravo Company.
But still within the Bravo Company.
Wow.
And in 1990, what happened?
Ci atum 1990 lana xew?
1990, Selain was deployed to RSM's office as RSM clerk.
In 1990, I was deployed to the RSM's office as the RSM clerk. Did you move to the army, or you had RSMs in the gendarmerie as well?
Ndax da nga jall dem ci soldat gi ndax da nga am RSM ci gendarmerie gi fofu?
No, yangi am RSM ci gendarmerie bi at the time.
I was an RSM at the gendarmerie at the time. But in 1990, you were moved to the PIU headquarters.
Waaye ci atum 1990 ci leen la yóbbu ci PIU headquarters.
Or is that a mistake? I think
that's a mistake.
Because there was no PIU in 1990.
Jumte la ndax amutoon PIU ci atum 1990.
That must have been 2000.
1999.
1999. Okay. In 1999, you were moved to PIU in Kanifing.
Ci atum 1999 leen la yóbbu ci PIU ci Kanifing.
Wow, si lañ ma yóbbu jëlee ma airport yóbbu ma Kanifing PIU.
Yes, that was when I was redeployed from the airport to the PIU in Kanifing. As what?
Comme lan?
The officer commanding.
As the officer commanding. And what was your rank?
Jamono boobu lan moo nekkoon sa maqaama?
ASP.
ASP. And according to your statement, in 2006, you were moved from PIU to Kanifing Division as commissioner.
Ci sa kàddu yi nga xam ne moom la ñu sottandeku ci kayit yi ci atum 2006 génne nañ la PIU yóbbu la commissioner Kanifing Division.
And thereafter, you were moved to the prison service as Deputy Director General.
Te gannaaw loolu yóbbu nañ la ci service yi ñi garde mbiri kaso yi nga nekk fa ki topp ci borom kër gu mag gi.
And your services were terminated
gannaaw loolu nag ñu dal di la dàq.
In 2006, after the presidential elections.
Ci atum 2006 gannaaw wote presidential.
And reinstated 2 years later.
Gannaaw loolu ñaari at gannaaw loolu ñu dal di la delloo ci liggéey bi.
That's true. Mr. Mbye,
Mr. Mbye,
did you do any courses?
Ndax am na men njàng moo xam ne ni def nga ko.
During your time at the PIU?
Ci jamono bi nga xam ne yaa ngi ci PIU bi.
Undergo na training in Egypt, Police Academy.
I took some training in Egypt, Police Academy.
On passport.
On passport.
undergone training at Mbao.
I took training
in Mbao.
in Mbao.
And then undergone some training in Medina on pièces détachées, spare parts.
I also did training in Medina on spare parts.
President Medina.
President
Councilor
Medina.
Moody. Wow. Airport security, I did some training with airport.
I also did some airport security with the airport.
But let me, I have asked these questions to other people, and I would ask you the same. In view of your education, do you think, honestly, that you are qualified for this position?
ndax ci sa xel mu dal ndax lo dal di won nga am match nga pour makama momu
Officer commanding PIU,
di officer bi nga kilifa gi jité PIU,
Deputy Director General of Prisons,
ki top ci ki jité buntu service prisons,
Commissioner of Police.
commissioner bu police.
War nga am jaxle boy la ci lolu.
You would be right to ask that question. It's true.
Suma career yep ci service.
My entire career in the service.
Limala muna gatal moy ne.
To put it to you shortly is to say that
I'm at the 6 M.
I stopped my education at primary 6.
Why? Amut ken kuma command on earth.
But there is nobody who has commanded me on earth. Who has underrated me. What I have is a blessing from God. It is not. It was not acquired through politics.
When the time comes,
it was not acquired through politics, or I did not seek hard for it. I got elevated when the time came. If what you are saying, you are basing it on that. But if you are basing it on that qualification, then I am not qualified to have attained those positions.
Well, I admire your honesty.
Doylo na bu baax ci sa taxaw ni nga wane sa bopp ci ak ngongu wir.
About that, the fact that you're not qualified for that.
Ne dal matchulo won ci makama mom.
And I ask this question simply because we have to ensure that we have standards in this country. And the standards should not be for a selected few and not for the others. And unless we have standards and we scrupulously implement them,
we
would never have a universal standard of delivery of services. And therefore, for positions, there should be minimum qualifications for attainment of those positions. These standards should be applied across the board. Perhaps the problems we had in this country were simply because we did not maintain the necessary standards. So in July 2005, you were officer commanding PIU.
July 2005, you were on PIU.
Wow. Yes.
Can you tell us what happened with regards to West African migrants who came to this country?
Ndax man nga ñoo wax nak li xewon ci doxandem yoy nga xamne ñoo ngi tukké won ci Afrique sowu jant ñoo fi ci réewi Gambia.
I can recall that
suma DIG by the name Abu Njai called Nama.
My DIG by the name Abu Njai called me.
And by DIG, what do you mean?
Deputy Inspector.
DIG
Deputy Inspector General of Police.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police.
Proceed.
All nama after closing the fanlane kambara ko mangi kill.
He called me after close of work and asked me where I was, and I told him I was home.
Then when I go feka Marine unit.
Then he told me to meet him at the Marine unit.
Do you recall the date?
ndax mën nga fàttaliku bés ban la.
Mënuma fàttaliku ban bés la.
No, I cannot recall the
all
date.
the activities yëpp na nekk ci diary bi.
But I know that all the activities would be in the diary.
Proceed, please.
Then sila dem to PIU.
Then that was how I went to the PIU.
You want my driver to dress up.
We warned our driver and he got dressed up.
My driver.
My driver and he got dressed up.
Then you move to terminal.
Then we moved to the terminal.
With few personnel from base guard.
With few personnel from the base guard.
But what exactly were you told by DIG Abu Njie?
waaye fan la wax nag jasang ci di DIG Abu Njie.
Lan la la wax.
lan la wax.
li ma wax mooy naa ko fekk Banjul Marine unit.
What he told me was that I should meet him in Banjul at the Marine unit.
Did he tell you the purpose?
ndax wax na la lan moo war a tax ngeen war faa tase.
waxuma ko.
He did not tell me.
waaye one number urgent ne naa dem immediately. Not waste time.
He told me how urgent it was and that I should go there immediately.
And then you went there with some elements from your
My base
ci
guard.
jamono boobu nga dem foofu ak yenn ñoo xam ne ay ndaw lañ ñu nekk ci base guard.
waaw bi ñu eggee ma park si bunta bi.
Yes, when we arrived, I parked at the gate.
Where exactly did you go? The terminal or the Marine unit?
fan nga dem ci terminal bi wala ci Marine unit.
You have to wait for the interpretation before you respond.
Yes,
Marine unit.
the Marine unit.
Then sila ko call ne ko I am at the location.
That was when I called him and told him that I was on location.
Then munema he will be coming to me.
Then he said to me that he would be coming to
He
me,
is there too.
that he was there too.
Waaw then ma xaal ko.
Then I waited for him.
waaw waaye on arrival li ma gis at the Marine unit
But on arrival, what I saw at the Marine unit
is chaotic.
was chaotic.
dafa jaxasoo.
It was chaotic.
First, tell us who you found there.
bu njëlbeen wax ñu kan nga fekk foofu.
mun naa la wax service chiefs yëpp a ngi fa.
I can tell you that all the service chiefs were there.
If not top service chiefs, their immediate deputies are there.
If not the top service chiefs, their immediate deputies were there.
Fode Bari gis naa ko fa.
I saw Fode Bari there.
Baba Sao gis naa ko fa.
I saw Baba Sawa there.
Suma DIG mu ngi fa.
My DIG was there.
NIA.
The NIA,
Personnel ak military bi, they were there.
their personnel and the military too were there.
Who in the military could you recall?
ñan ñoo nekk ci soldat gi ñoo xam ne ni mun nga leen cee fàttaliku.
Xanaa Field Marshal Kawsu Kamara.
Field Marshal Kausu Kamara.
Why do you call him Field Marshal?
lu tax nga ko ooyee Field Marshal.
Li ma ko ooyee Field Marshal mooy in service liñ xam mooy command and control.
I call him Field Marshal because in the service what we know is command and control.
Why on that fateful day Kawsu nekkutoon under command.
But on that fateful day, Kausu wasn't under command.
Why did you say that?
lu tax nga wax loolu.
In the first place dañ am dress code.
In the first place, we have a dress code.
And I was in uniform as a commissioner.
I was in uniform as a
My
commissioner.
DIG mu ngi nekk in mufti.
My DIG was in mufti.
A rat like Kawsu Kamara was a nekk in that traditional dress.
And a rat like Kausu Kamara shouldn't have dressed up in that traditional outfit.
If he comes from under a command.
How was he dressed?
naka la solo woon.
Kawsu mu ngi sol mbubi tere bu ponkal ak caaya.
He was putting on a shirt with a lot of jujus and baggy trousers.
A big one. And
A big one for that matter, all over jujus.
loolu yëpp mu ngi sol mu ngi am ay tiiri.
Mu ngi doon jaabante di dem through up and down.
He was moving up and down.
what else was he doing?
ak lan la doon def.
Bo Kausu, the whole show was Kausu.
I can say that the whole show was Kausu.
Apart from these officers, who else was there? No, gannaaw kilifa yooyu nga tudd. ñana fa nekkoon.
Gannaaw kilifa yooyu nga tudd ñana fa nekkoon.
Am na daal upon arriving at Kairaba.
I know that upon arriving at Kairaba.
Let's talk about the terminal first. The marine unit.
Ci marine bi.
Terminal lima fa gis daal lima recall mooy lima la wax nii Fodé Bari gis naa ko Baba Sao gis naa ko.
What I saw at it.
My DIG was there too.
What I saw at the marine was the names that I gave you, Fodé Bari.
And Kausu and Co were there too.
Kausu ak
marine officers.
Ak ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ay soldats manduwaar lañ.
What was the purpose of all these people gathering there?
Lan moo doon jubluwaay ñoom ñëpp ñu nekk foofu.
Loolu de soo ma ko laajee di ma jommal.
If you ask me this question, you would surprise me.
The purpose bi. Li ma fa yóbbu moo leen fa yóbbu.
The purpose, well, what took me there was the same thing that took them.
And what was it that took you there?
Ak yow kon lan moo la fa yóbbu.
Li ma fa yóbbu mooy after bi ma callee suma DIG ba mu am time to meet me.
After I called my DIG and he got time to meet me.
Li ma brief mooy ne moom dafa am migrants yu ici moo ñoo toog na la si suuf.
What he briefed me was that there were some migrants who were brought in, and those were the ones that were sitting there on the ground.
They were stranded in Bara.
ñoom dañ desoon Bara.
Police and some security agencies locate leen.
Police ak yeneen nit ñu yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange gis leen.
Then they were arrested then to Bara police station.
ñu jàpp leen yóbbu leen Bara police station.
Waaye moom suma discussion ak moom.
But my discussion with him.
Li ma woon mooy ne these guys are migrants.
What the impression it gave me was that these guys were migrants.
Well, he told you that they were stranded at Bara and they were arrested in Bara, but these guys are migrants. Did he explain how and why they were at the marine unit in Banjul?
Moom wax la rek ne ñi ñu ngi desoon Bara ñu gis leen jàpp leen dal di leen indi waaye ndax wax na leen lu tax ñu yóbbu leen ci marine unit bi foofu.
Banjul.
Ci Banjul.
Banjul suñ discussion egut foofu.
Well, our discussion in Banjul did not get to that extent.
Why, binyo process guy at Kairaba.
But while they were being processed at Kairaba,
mom resident amang behind the station.
His residence is behind the station.
Then you don't watan mark mom.
I was having a chat with him.
In fact, mom, we don't try to build up an investigation team.
In fact, he was trying to build up an investigation team
into the matter.
Ci mbir mi mu ngi doon jéema sos benn kuréel goo xam ne ni dinañ mën a gestu.
Why moom mu ngi doon jéema def arrangement.
While he was making those arrangements,
ñu oko.
He was called.
By who?
Na ko on.
Kiko o how ma exactly kana ko o waaye manko side mu ngi taxaw ak ñoom State Guard Commander, then Usman Baji.
I did not know who called him, but I saw him standing aside with the State Guard Commander at the time, Usman Baji.
And some other plainclothes officers.
Ak yeneen ñoo xam ne ni ay ñuy yëngu ci wàlli service lañ waaye solu uniforme.
Then I went back to my car.
Ila delluwaat man ci suma oto bi.
Do you know what they discussed?
Ndax xam nga lan lañ waxtaanee.
Because damay jox distance xaw ma lan lañuy waxtaan.
No, because I gave them a distance. I did not know what they discussed. But
why I'm not a second thought because nin issue bi.
But I had a second thought because the way the issue was now turned,
my divide them into groups,
which is to divide them into groups.
Don't know a second thought ne li mo tañu o DIG.
It gave me the second thought that this is the reason why the DIG was called.
It's now you moved back to the Kairaba police station to the charge office.
I saw them move back to the Kairaba station into the charge office.
Then you divide some group to Baba Job's residence in Kotu.
Then they divided them, and one group was taken to Baba Job's residence in Kotu.
Thank you very much for that. But in the meantime, let's go back to the marine unit.
Jërëjëf ci loolu waaye fi mu nekk nii nañ delluwaat ci marine unit bi.
You said your DIG told you that here were some migrants arrested from Bara, and now they were there at the Marine Unit. Did he tell you who ordered that they be brought to the Marine Unit?
mel sa DIG bi wax na leen ne ñii ay doxandeem lañ ñu ngi nii ci Marine Unit ndax wax na la kan moo joxe ndigal ne nañ leen indi foofu ci Marine Unit bi.
suñ waxtaan àggut foofu.
Our discussions did not get to that extent.
But while at the Marine Unit, did you see these migrants?
waaye ci Marine Unit bi ndax gis nga doxandeem yooyu.
gis naa migrants yi waaw.
I saw the migrants, yes.
In what condition?
ci gan anam.
conditions yi ma leen gis dafa doy waar.
The conditions were appalling.
waaw mooy li ma doon wax ne bombardé moo nekkoon the head of the whole show.
That is what I am saying, that Bombardier was the head of the whole show.
What display was he putting up?
ci yan anam manière la doon doxale.
Display comme kankurang buy dem up and down rek.
He was behaving like a kankurang, going pacing up and down.
Oh, ñi roda seen boppa ni ñoo behave.
Behaving like the cultural dancers who use knives and cutlasses to cut themselves.
Did you see him come into physical contact with any one of the arrestees?
ndax gis nga mu def benn jëflante ak ñooñu nga xam ne ni jàpp nañ leen.
Of the migrants?
doxandeem yooyu.
dina de yuuxoom yeeg shouting bi yëpp dégg ni moo yuuxoo yëpp maa ngi koo dégg.
All his shoutings I heard.
What was he saying?
For them to comply, sit down, straight their legs, and all whatnot.
di leen forcer nañ toog teg seen tànk yi si suuf.
Having a long rope over his neck.
mu ngi amee woon buum gu gudd nag laxas ko ci baatam bi.
I don't know what type of rope la.
xaw ma nag ban xeeti buum la woon.
Did you see him come into physical contact with any one of the detainees?
ndax gis nga mu jëflante kenn ci ñi ñu jàppoon noonu.
du ñàkk because ni Bombardier doon behave rek du ñàkk.
Inevitably, because of the manner in which he was behaving that day.
Because amutoon benn command bu fa nekk bu control Bombardier.
Because there was no command there on the ground to control Bombardier.
But weren't representatives of the army there, senior staffers?
ndax amutoon ñu teewal soldat gi foofu kilifa yoo xam ne ñu ngi ci soldat gi.
ñu ngi fa.
They were there.
Like who?
ñu mel ni kan.
Even senior officers of Marine Unit are senior to Bombardier.
Even the senior officers of the Marine Unit were senior to Bombardier.
Such as who?
ku mel ni ki kan.
ma bàyyi xel daal rek ñooñu mënuma recall suma mind si ñoom waaye I know ne they were there and even the state guard personnel were there too.
I cannot recall exactly, but I know that they were there as well as the state guard personnel.
We received information
maa ngi
that
gis
Hassan Sarr was
maa ngi gis Ousmane Badji at.
I saw Ousmane Badji at Karaba.
State guard commander then.
He was the then state guard commander.
Why at Marine Unit gisuma ko whether he was in the offices I don't know.
But I did not see him at the Marine Unit. I do not know whether he was in the office or not.
We received information that Captain Hassan Sarr was there at the time.
jot nañ fi bataaxel ne Captain Hassan Sarr mu ngi fa woon.
Hassan xam naa ko waaye su fa nekkee tam gisuma ko.
I know Hassan, but even if he were there, I did not see him.
But did you see Bombardier hit anybody?
ndax gis nga Bombardier mu dóor kenn.
gisuma ko waaye su ne am na.
I have not seen it, but if it is said that it happened, then it had happened.
Why are you so bold as to say that?
gisuma kenn ku stop Bombardier of lim doon behave.
I did not see anybody stop Bombardier behaving the way he was.
In any military operations, the war am command and control.
And in any military operation, there should be command and control.
What exactly was he doing that was so untoward, which made you feel the way you're feeling now?
lan nga gis ban manière nga gis mu doon def ba mu nekk loo xam ne doy na waar comme yow nga yëg ni nga yëg nii tey.
Mr. Fall, li ma mën a wax mooy suñ gathering bi fii.
What I can say is that this gathering of ours here.
nekkuloo di daw di dem up and down yaa ngi toog civilized di wax man.
You are not running up and down. You are seated civilizedly and talking to me.
Moreover, ba itam noonu la waroon a demee.
Moreover, that's the same thing that should have happened on the other
lead.
The person with the say should have been the one leading all the other services.
Instruction, everybody comply.
Giving out instructions and having everyone to comply.
It was in that format.
Is your suggestion that Bombardier was unruly, he was not behaving properly?
mu ngi mel ni daal Bombardier daal nekku doon di dox ci manière goo xam ne manière bu ànd ak yar la.
So amee yar tam de kon ki awtoon kenn ku fa nekk.
Even if he had any discipline, he behaved, without regard for anyone who was present there.
Is it because of his indiscipline and disregard for all senior officers who were there which led you to calling him Field Marshal?
ndax nim doon manière noonu ak ñàkk teggin gi nga xam ne ni wanewutoon ko fenn ci boru ndax loolu moo tax nga ko doon ooyee Field nga koy ooyee Field Marshal.
That is why I gave him that title of Field Marshal.
Under command DIG.
Because I was under the command of the DIG.
All other police personnel are under the command of DIG.
All other police personnel who were present were under the command of the DIG.
I Bombardier in the first place.
What for Bombardier, even the way he came in the first place. There is no organization where you can have such a person in our then Gambia.
Did any of the officers attempt, as far as you know, did any of the officers attempt to bring him in line?
No.
ndax am na kenn ci kilifa yi nga xam ne nekkoon nañ foofu ku jéem a jël jéego pour dagli ko régler.
Why do you think that happened?
tax nga foog loolu am na.
Well, why do you think that he was not brought in line?
lu tax nga fooy ne ndax amul kenn ku ko jéem a régler.
dama ko yëgut dama gis ne moom nim starté ni ma ko fekkee foofu.
I'm not aware of that because the way I found him there.
Benin fa jógee di pa guy di board boss bi.
Until when we left, when they were being boarded onto buses.
Taka bi yépp moom moo ko doon def.
All the tying was done by him.
Who was tied up?
ñan lañ takkoon.
Migrants yi.
The migrants.
Were they being tied gently or was it in a rough manner?
ndax dañ leen takkoon ci anam goo xam ne nii anam gu yomb la nii wala ndax dañ leen takkoon takk bu métti métti.
taka amut benn gently taka yëpp dafa rough.
There is no gentle tying. All tyings are rough.
So after tying them, what happened to them?
gannaaw bu ñu leen takkee lu xew.
dañ board boss bi.
They boarded the bus to Karaba.
Proceed.
Then board bus to Karaba. Karaba, Gayu Wacha.
They boarded the bus to Karaba. At Karaba,
how did you get to Karaba?
Naka ngeen demee Kairaba.
Kairaba moto yëpp a toppante.
All the vehicles were followed one another.
ñu ñoo nekk the rear guard of buses.
We were the rear guard of the buses.
Then command cars yi toppa ñu.
And then the command cars followed us.
Okay, and where did you go?
Kairaba station.
Fan ngeen dem?
Kairaba station.
What time did you arrive at Kairaba station?
Ban waxtu ngeen àgg Kairaba station?
Suma ko waxee fenn.
If I should say so, I would be lying.
Was it during the day, afternoon or night?
No.
Daal loolu ci bés bi la ci bëccëg bi wala ci guddi gi?
Yëpp ci guddi la.
All of it was in the night.
So what happened at Kairaba when you arrived there?
Kairaba dañ àgg Kairaba gars yi wàcca.
We got to Karaba, they disembarked.
Then ñu lead leen to the church office.
And they were led into the church office.
In the church office, ñu leen a profile di jël seen details yi.
At the church office, they were profiled and their details were taken down.
How were these details taken down?
Seen mbir yu naka lañ leen doon bindee?
Relief commander bi and the relief commander bi nekkoon on duty at the time.
The relief commander on duty at the time.
Fi gars yi nekk in front of the counter.
Amongst the people in front of the counter.
Jël detail am you turn and then get behind the counter.
Once your details are taken, you turn and go behind the counter.
The question was, how were these details taken? Were they written down?
They were written down.
Do you know whether it was on a sheet of paper or was it in a book?
ndax xam nga ndax dañ ko bindoon ci benn feuille paper kay rek wala ndax ci benn téere lañ ko bindoon.
li ma xam daal mooy plain paper uti nañ ko from the CID.
What I know is that they sought out for a plain paper from the CID.
loolu la relief commander bi njëkka appeal na nañ ko may.
That was what the relief commander first appealed for.
And mu staple ko.
And then he stapled it.
Then the detailed recording started.
And then that was when he started recording the details.
Do you know who was the relief commander?
ndax xam nga kan moo nekkoon relief commander bi ku jiite woon aye boobu keroog.
mënuma ko fàttaliku.
I cannot recall.
waaye war naa nekk in the records.
But it should be in the records.
So records were kept?
léegi nag ñu dal di denc nag bind liñ bind noonu.
Records were, I remember a copy was given to the DIG.
am na copy boo xam ne nii joxoon nañ ko DIG bi.
A copy of what?
A copy of the migrants. They are details.
mooy tur yi ak fi ñu dëkk ak ni ñu seen mbir daal moom lañ bindoon ci foo yooyu.
Wow. I believe all other services were given a copy.
yaakaar naa sax ne bunti service yëpp joxoon nañ leen copy.
Interesting.
Because we
Did you have a copy?
ndax yow amoon nga copy.
No, so DIG am a copy, man, do am copy.
No, once the DIG has a copy, I don't have a copy.
Okay. So for how long were you at Kairaba?
ci ban diir la toll bi ngeen nekkee Kairaba.
Yaga nañ fa.
We were there for a long time.
How many hours?
Open 1 hour.
ñaata waxtu.
More than 1 hour.
Was that the time that the DIG spoke to the head of the state guards?
ndax mooy jamono bi nga xam ne DIG waxoon nag ki jiite woon state guard.
Munuma fàttaliku exactly ban time la waaye xam naa ne ma DIG ñu ngi nekkoon at a corner ñun ñaar ñu ngi tu.
I cannot recall exactly what time it was, but I remember the DIG and myself were at a particular corner smoking.
And then Mumajo honest opinion about the issue.
And he was giving me his honest opinion about the issue.
Then sila somebody come to our side to call the DIG na uyu.
That was when someone came to where we were and called the DIG to go and answer.
And what was his honest opinion that he shared with you?
lan moo doon nag li xalaatam bu jógee ci xolam boo xam ne nii dal di na la ko wax.
li ma doon explain daal maak moom honestly moom lim gëm mooy ne gars yi they are migrants.
What he was telling me, the discussion we had with him, was that his honest belief was that these were migrants.
Were these people being called any other name or any other label apart from migrants?
ndax ñi am na benn tur boo xam ne nii wala am na leneen loo xam ne nii noonu lañ leen daan ooyee gannaaw migrants ay doxandeem yi.
bés boobu dégguma kenn ku wax beneen tur. waaye moom laa mun a waxal moom laa waxtaanal moom lim ma wax loolu between man maak moom la.
On that day, I did not hear them being referred to by any other name. But what he told me was that they were migrants, and this was a discussion between him and I.
Except Hana Lena de Moy Bombarde and Co. Nindon behavior.
Except the behavior of Bombarde and the others. Perhaps they had something in their minds which was different from that which the DIG and I discussed.
And you said names were taken. And the service chiefs were given a copy. What happened after that?
Shortly before the Paresa, Siling divide, Silla division be known, let others be taken to Baba Jobs.
Before that process concluded,
complete.
That was the time the decision was made that they be divided and one group be taken to Baba Job's compound.
And lima tawa DIG am na kumo try on phone why munuko am.
All the while that I was standing with the DIG, there was someone he was trying to get on the line, but he was unsuccessful.
I know ne complain nama at one given time nama pa Amadi Jallo mun ko try wa mun ko am.
I know that he complained to me at one time that Pa Amadou Jallo was trying him, but he could not reach him.
Mun ko don try wa mun ko am.
That he was trying him, but he could not reach him.
I know ne all that was geared towards forming a panel for investigation.
loolu yëpp bokkoon na ci jéego yi njëloon pour sos benn kuréel boo xam ne dana gëstu mbir yooyu.
loolu fan la mujjee xaw ma.
Where that effort ended, I do not know.
At the end of the day, at the end of that evening, that night, what happened?
ci njeexteel guddi googu lu xew.
yóbbu nañ some group to Baba Diop's residence.
yóbbu nañ ñenn ci këri Baba Diop.
last 3 days hejuñ Kairaba.
The last 3 could not fit into Kairaba.
Then man silama diya wax ne man naa dem ak ñooñu.
That was when the DRG told me to go along with them.
PIU.
To the PIU.
Who were those?
ñooy ñan.
Lima mën a remember daal ñoom 3 la.
What I can recall is that they were 3.
Ama seen tur.
I did not know their names.
Waaw seen nationalité tam mën naa am recall ma ko nu ma ko fàttaliku.
I cannot also recall their nationality.
waaye man maa àndaa ñoom ba PIU.
But I went along with them to the PIU.
Disembark, then to the guard room.
Disembark, went to the guard room.
Nañ ko book in the diary.
Told them to book it in the diary.
My arrival with those 3 guys.
My arrival and the 3 individuals.
Ma ubbi suma office 2IC.
I opened the office of my 2IC.
Dinañ ma clear documents am yi fa nekk isu ko suma office.
I cleared his documents there and brought them to my office.
The guy nañ leen def foofu.
And told them to put those individuals there.
These 3 guys.
Were
3 individuals.
Were they booked?
They were
bindoon nañ seen tur.
So if anyone goes to PIU and requests for the record should be available.
bu fekkee ne nit na dem na foofu pour seet bindu yooyu war na faa nekk de.
The records
were available.
What records available are you talking about?
The register where the names were recorded.
yi ngeen bind seen tur
Records yooyu yëpp they were tampered.
All those records were tampered with.
Okay, we would come to that later.
Then you come to that.
Okay, so you kept them in your office. For how long?
ci ban diir la lañ nekk foofu noonu nga leen téye.
daal yàgga nañ fa.
They were there for a long time.
waaye mutuma laa wax for how long.
But I cannot tell you for how long.
waaye xam naa on one fateful day.
But I know that on one fateful day.
Kausu Kamara came to PIU.
Kausu Kamara ñëwoon na PIU.
To the guard room.
jëm ci guard room bi.
Could you stop there? We will come to that later, on that fateful day. In the meantime, tell us what happened the next 2 days after you've taken this group to your office.
wax ñu gannaaw ñaari fan gannaaw loolu bi nga yóbboo ñi seen office wax ñu lan a xew.
lan a xew si lan.
What happened as in what?
Did you hear about anything that has happened to any people?
ndax dégg nga dara loo xam ne xew na si yenn nit.
Wow, after the 2 days after 1 day soma.
Yes.
I'm a call from Bulfoot, Ghana Town Post.
Yes, I don't know whether it was after 2 days or 1 day, but I can recall that I got a call from the Bulfoot station.
In Ghana Town.
Ghana Town.
They discovered some bodies within the forest.
That they discovered some bodies within the forest.
xaaral ñu lapato boobu am na solo trop ne amoon nga call bu jógee ko ci Ghana Town ndaw yi PIU yu nekk foofu ne am na yenn niw yuñ for si forêt bi foofu ci Ghana Town ci Bulfoot.
Proceed, please. Continue.
Then I called the DIG, relayed the message to him.
Then I called the DIG.
Sëñ bi yow kañ fi mu ne yàggee lakkatubaab yu seet wecc lakkal olof rek.
Moxla called DIG jotale ko xibaar bi.
That was when I called the DIG and I relayed this information to him.
And then?
ak loolu gannaaw loolu.
Wow, then after loolu.
After that.
moom wax na ma ne yónni na fa the CMC.
He told me that he has dispatched the CMC to the scene.
Who was he at the time?
kan moo nekkoon CMC bi waxtu
boobu mun naa am because time boobu Pa Amadou Diallo moo nekkoon CMC.
That time, Pa Amadou Diallo was the CMC.
And then what happened after that?
gannaaw loolu lu xew.
recover nañ bodies yi.
The bodies were recovered.
Did you go to the scene?
ndax yow demoon nga foofu.
su ma mënee remember man dem naa to the scene.
If I can remember, I went to the scene.
dem naa to the scene.
I went to the scene, if I can remember.
Did you see the bodies?
ndax gis nga niw yi.
gis naa niw yi.
I saw the corpses.
And how many bodies did you see?
ñaata niw nga gis.
gis naa 8 bodies.
I saw 8 bodies.
What exactly did you see on them?
lan nga gis si ñoom.
li ma gis si ñoom mooy ne ñu ngi def yaramu neen.
What I saw, what I can see was that they were naked.
waaye tubéy moom ñu ngi ko soloon.
They were putting on their trousers.
benn mu nekk boxer ou mu nekk dross waaye ñu ngi soloon tubéy.
Either they were knickers or boxers, but they were putting on something, trousers.
Did you see any injuries on them?
ndax gis nga ay gaañu ci ñoom.
déedéet.
No.
waaye xam naa daal ne rey bi moom du rey bu rafet.
But I know that the killing was not a massive killing or a nice killing.
waaw.
Can you explain what you mean by
ma
that?
bàyyi xel
mun ngaa
daal
leeral li nga wax noonu.
du ñëpp waaye am na ñu ma bàyyi xel daal seen baat bi was not normal.
It was not all of them, but there were some that I observed that, and their necks were not normal.
What do you mean by that?
lan nga miin ci loolu.
mooy nekk bi war naa leemu waaye am na leemu bu moo leemu is not normal dafa dama.
The neck should bend, but there is a kind of bending which you see, and you will know that the neck is broken.
duma docteur de waaye loolu mooy suma xelaat ni ma gisee affaire yi.
I wasn't a doctor, but that was what I could think of when I saw them.
Did you see any blood?
ndax gis nga deret.
waaw deret bi moom seen gémmiñ yi mu ngi am deret ak seen bakkan yi. seen noppa yi mu ngi am deret.
Their mouths were having blood, their noses, as well as their ears.
And did you observe anything on their heads?
ndax am na dara loo gis ci seen bopp yi.
déedéet.
No.
Did you see broken skulls?
ndax gis nga bopp bu toj.
déedéet.
No.
All right. And for how long did you observe the corpses?
ci ban diir la toll boo xam ne yaa ngi bàyyi xel niw yooyu di leen seet.
during time bi ñu leen a eb si pick-up yi dañ di génne di eb si pick-up yi.
When they were being brought out and being boarded on the pickups.
pick-up yaa ngi si kaw tali bi maa ngi taxaw.
The pickups were on the road, and I was standing by.
In fact, those who carried the bodies were in fact under your command.
moom sax de ñi nga xam ne nii ñoo doon jël niw yooyu di leen dugal ci oto yooyu ñooñu sax ñu ngi nekkoon ci sa ron.
waaw su ma doon lañ nekk mooy PIU bi.
Yes, they were under me. The PIU.
ñeneen ñu doon dimbale.
But there were others who were assisting them.
While you stood there watching these bodies being moved to the pickup, what came to your mind?
bi nga taxawee di gis ñu ngi naay enu di leen niw yi di leen dugal ci pick-up bi lan moo ñëw ci sa xel.
li ñëw suma xel rek mooy ñiñ ci yóbbu leen to Baba Job's home ak Kairaba police ne part of them ñoom lañ gis ci forest.
What came to my mind at that time was that those that were arrested, taken to the Kairaba station, and others to Baba Job's compound,
nga baalal ma leeral fii tuuti.
they would be part of those groups.
bi ma dem oo nañ ma ne naa deploy a guard to Baba Job's residence.
And if you allow me, let me say something. While I was going, I was asked to deploy a guard to Baba Job's compound.
ma deploy the guard bi.
After I deployed the guard,
jël naa a choir book.
I took a choir book.
ñu def fa activity those coming in and out.
And they jotted down the activities of those that were coming in and out of the guard room.
The sergeant at the time on duty was Musa Touré.
ki nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon sergeant bi ci ay boobu noonu ci duty boobu keroog moo nekkoon Moussa Touré.
Nickname Sergeant Fry.
ñu xamee ko sergeant naka.
Sergeant Fry.
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 F-R-Y. Okay, as in fried fish. Okay. All right, thank
On
you.
my visiting round,
ci suma nemmeeku yooyu nag
wax na ma ne the black,
He told me that the black,
they came there to pick some personnels.
ne ñoom ñëw nañ ñi doon sol mbuba yu ñuul yooyu ñëw nañ foofu jël yenn ci doxandeem yooyu.
That night?
Not that night, but after from Binjoge Foot.
It was after we left, came from
the second thought.
I had the second thought.
To get to my personnels at Baba Job's compound.
mooy li nga xam ne nii mooy pour àgg ci suma nit ñi nekk ci këri Baba Job.
On my own observation.
Suma gis-gis.
And then my discussion with the sergeant.
Ak suma waxtaan ak sergeant bi.
The personnels of this black.
ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy black yooyu.
dañ fa dee dem di pick.
They usually go there and pick the migrants.
Did he write the names of those who went there?
ndax bind na tur yi ñi nga xam ne ni ñoo fa demoon pour jël doxandeem yooyu.
It was all recorded in that choir book.
loolu yëpp bindoon nañ ko nag ci choir book boobu.
Waaye do you know what? Ndax xam nga la nga mujjee xew.
But do you know what ended?
Then tore all the papers off the choir book and left the choir book there.
waaye dañ mujjee xotti
empty choir book there.
dañ mujjee xotti kayit yi ñu fa bind yëpp bàyyi choir book bi noonu.
Who did that?
ñana def loolu.
The black.
mooy black yi.
Who do you understand the black to be?
ñan nga jàpp ne ñooy black yi.
mooy jongla si.
That is the junglers.
Your guy, Musa Toure, sergeant, did he know the name of the jungler who did it? The black guy who did it?
sa sergeant boobu di Musa Toure ndax xam na jongla black bi nga xam ne moo def loolu.
waaw mun na am dina ko xam.
Maybe he knows.
waaye su ma ko waxee itam fàtte naa ko.
But even if he had told me, I have forgotten.
Where is this Musa Toure?
ana Musa Toure bi.
Still mu ngi active service.
He's still active in service.
mu ngi liggéey de.
dafa daw yaram sax moom.
It's so sad.
Attempted so many times to go out of this country, Muntalem.
He attempted on several occasions to go out of the country, but he was unsuccessful. I believe it's the panic from this incident.
Attempted so many times to go to America, applying a visa for so many times, you got reject.
He tried several times to go to America, applied for visas, but it was rejected. And I know it's because of the horrors he experienced out of this incident.
So to take you a step backwards, while you were standing at Brufut by the bird reserve, you knew pretty well that these people were part of the migrants who were at Kairaba.
jamono bi nga xamee ni yéen a ngi ci bird reserve bi foofu fi nga ci di seet niw yi bi leen a dugal ak yooyu noonu ci jamono jooju leeroon na la peng ne nii bokk nañ ci doxandeem yi nga xam ne nii ñoom lañ jàpp.
ku nekkoon CREC marine unit te parewula wa fenal dina xam ne these people were part of them.
Anyone who was in the marine unit and is not prepared to tell you lies would know that these people were part of the migrants. The reason why I'm telling you this is because the Gambian and the Senegalese are somehow similar in appearance. Those of us with the other people from the coast are different in terms of size and our build-up.
That is very true. We are slim and lean. They are heftier and shorter.
I
saw them when they were lightened from the bus. I was standing at the church office. I did not know their names.
A night before, this body see. At one-on-one.
But after I saw the bodies and in comparison with the people I saw the night before, if I put one-on-one, I can be able to come to a conclusion.
And it was clear to you that they were part of that group?
There is no dispute about that.
What do you say to the position or statement provided by the Gambia government after some investigations that the group of 8 bodies, or the 8 bodies that were recovered, had no relationship with the group of migrants who came to Bara?
looy wax ci benn bataaxel boo xam ne nii wala taxawaay boo xam ne ni tukkee na ci nguur gi ne gannaaw gestu boo xam ne def nañ ko juróom-ñetti niw yiñ gis ci Brufut amuñ dara loo xam ne deflante nañ ko ak doxandeem yooyu nga xam ne nii ñoom lañ jàpp fii ñu ñëw ci réew mi.
yëpp fen la. all is a lie.
That's a big, strong accusation.
loolu nag tuuma bu am doole la de.
da nga bëgg ma fen man suma bopp du ma ko def.
Do you want me to lie myself?
I want you to be as honest can be.
amut honest loolu fen la.
There is no honesty in that. It is a lie.
soo seetee mbiri ni moo demee.
Because if you looked at the way things were going,
dafa doy waar.
it's incredible.
Tell us about it.
wax ñu ko.
Records in the diary.
The records.
You wanna tamper with those records?
Why would they tamper with the records that were in the diary? What reason?
All activities in a police station, even the arrival of the SO, closing from office to resident, dañ ko day book ci diary bi.
mboolem loo xam ne nii ab jëflante la ci bunti police dañ ko dee bind ñëw ak dellu mag bu SO bi dañ koy bind.
Even a magistrate visiting the station dañ ko binda.
même sax donte sax su fekkee ne am na benn àttekat magistrate boo xam ne dem na ci police station dañ koy bind lawyer.
So where are ana records yooyu?
So where are those records?
When you went back to Baba Job's house and you asked Sergeant Toure, did he show you the choir book with the missing pages?
I have checked this choir book.
bi nga demee ci këri Baba Jobaat nga laaj kii Moussa Touré ndax war na la choir book bi xotti fooy yi ci xotti.
Your answer, please.
li si nekk mooy nga baalal ma ma delloo la gannaaw tuuti.
Allow me to move some few steps backwards.
Brufut Ghana Town, ñana fa nekk deployment.
Who are deployed at the Brufut Ghana Town?
You answer that.
It's the PIU.
Well, lan tax jëf ju ñaaw ji nga def ko dem teg ko si boori PIU.
But why would you do this horrific act and then place those people close to the PIU?
Nga claim lo PIU.
And you stay in the PIU.
Do you think
that was not the first incident? What would the first incident be?
That was not the first incident.
What was the first incident?
What is the army doing in the police operations?
lan la soldat yi def ci liggéey boo xam ne liggéey police la.
Putting the same uniform with the police.
sol nag di benn uniforme bi nga xam ne moom la police di sol.
Hold on.
Sorry, loolu mooy the cause. Loolu mooy the cause. Sorry, balal ma akama ñëw. That's the very cause of PIU getting to black outfit, blue outfit.
loolu moo tax PIU génn ci colin gi nga xam ne moom lañ leen ràññee woon du.
Now you are out of the Gambia. Why many of on this table, high table, knew that PIU were putting on a green uniform.
Maybe you were out of the Gambia, but many people here would have known that the PIU were putting on green uniforms.
And why did they change?
Because of April 10, 11.
li tax ñu wecceeku mu lal ko laaj mu ne ko lekk xew-xew bi xawoon April 10 11.
They were using the same uniform as the PIU.
ñu ngi doon jëfoo benn uniforme bi PIU doon sol.
Who was doing that?
ñan ñoo doon def loolu.
The army.
soldaar gi.
But how would they get such uniforms?
The green outfit, they put it on.
nuñ daan jotee façon uniforme boobu nde mu tontu na ko ne.
The PIU is putting the same uniform on.
tontu na ko nag ne bu werta boobu PIU bi moom loolu la daan sol.
This is why my time Ibn Njai as the IG.
That was Ibn Njai's time when he was IG.
This discussion came up for us to change to blue outfit.
loolu taxoon na ñu am xalaat boobu ne ñu tourné nag génne ci blue boobu noonu tenue bu blue boobu.
Are you suggesting that the army deliberately wore uniforms so that they would be mistaken for the PIU?
maanaam da nga bëgg wax ne soldat dañ daan tey rek sol loo xam ne uniforme boo xam ne nii nit ñi dañ leen ko mun di jaawale ak PIU bi.
jaawale PIU su nekkee ne xam nga ne li nga def is not clean.
cover.
Well, if you know that what you are doing is not clean, you try to look for cover.
An example.
Let me give you another example.
Black, diga.
This black that you are hearing.
Black, can we differentiate with the PIU outfit, blue outfit?
That black, nobody can distinguish it from the PIU uniform.
The desert camouflage?
Wouldn't they have gotten the desert camouflage?
They will be purely identified as soldiers.
Well, we've received evidence that when one of the migrants was arrested and taken to the PIU in Ghana town, the moment he saw PIU officers in their uniform, he started screaming, here they are, they're going to kill us, they're going to kill us. Because he's mistaken the PIU guys for the people who came to kill them.
The PIU uniform be blue outfit. The
PIU uniform is a blue outfit.
Not black.
Not black.
But they're similar. They were similar.
It looks alike.
They look alike.
Okay. So you believe that those bodies were, or the people were killed near the PIU, so that the PIU would take the fall for it.
Danga gom nek ne ñooñu dañ leen rey indi leen ci boori PIU bi bu ko defee rek PIU gàddu nag lépp loo xam ne mooy tuumay.
Did you know that some Ghanaians were arrested and blamed for those killings?
Ndax yëg nga ne am na Ghanaian yoo xam ne ni sax jàppoon nañ leen ba pare teg leen tuumay lu dem ci mbiri rey boobu.
Loolu yëpp caaxaan la.
All that is a joke. It's a provocation.
What do you know happened?
Lan nga xam ne xew na ci?
Li ma xam ne xew na daal mooy man bi ma gisee bodies yi Ghana town.
What I know happened was when I saw the bodies in Ghana town,
then suma mind click na ma visit suma guard bi ma deploy kill Baba Diop.
My mind clicked to the guard I deployed at Baba Diop's compound.
The activity bi ma fa am.
The activities that I had there.
The one-on-one with Limagis Bullfoot is the same. They were collected by the black.
If I add one-on-one with what I saw in Bullfoot, I concluded that they were collected by the black.
By not Ghanaian society, Ghanaian community.
Why not do Ghanaian society in Yolen Fajer?
Lenton.
Who do you believe killed these Ghanaians, these bodies that the people that were killed at the forest?
Kan nga gom ne ñoom moo rey Ghanaian yooyu nga xam ne ni ñoom lañ gisoon ci forêt bi.
Xam naa daal state bi am na ci loxo.
I know that the state had a hand in it.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that?
Yes.
Lu tax ma wax laajte loolu.
Don't worry, I'll ask you seemingly questions for which the answers are seemingly obvious.
Sorry, your house has a house head. Whatever happens, you face it.
The transparent.
It should not be under the carpet.
I know you are speaking in innuendo. Let's call a spade a spade. Tell us exactly what it is. Ban loxo lañ ci am loxo bi doga ndax loxo bi sut ndax rabab loxo bi dama baat wax ñu ban loxo lañ ci am.
What kind of hand did they have in it? Up till this day.
Déguma fenn fu state bi waxe ne arrest nañ diw sangam or diw sangam ñoo responsible.
I have not heard the state say that we have arrested so and so person or so and so person. Arrested. Except the cover-ups that were out there.
The state did say, or the investigations revealed, that those who carried out the killing were rogue elements of the security forces.
Gestu wiñ am sax day wax nañ ne am na ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko def nag mooy nit ñi nga xam ne nii dañ jéggi dayoo ci seen liggéey ci buntu liggéeykaay service bi.
loolu fen la. That is a lie.
Why do you say that is a lie?
lu tax nga wax ne loolu fen la.
léegi pour ma gàttal la ko rek jong la si came here and they said ñoom ñoo def execution bi.
To put it briefly to you, the junglers came here and they admitted committing the execution.
balaa ñoom ñuy ñëw fii sax ñëpp ñu bari xamoon nañ loolu.
And even before they came here, many people knew about that.
Did you know about that before?
yow xamoon nga ko balaa ñuy ñëw fii.
léegi man suma boss ni ma ko xamee mooy Kawsu Kamara came to me.
Well, as for me, how I got to know about it was that Kawsu Kamara came to me.
In fact, he came with a sergeant. The sergeant I could not recall.
ak benn sergeant na ñëw nag koo xam ne nii fàttaliku ma ko.
He parked outside the camp.
dafa gaare nag ci gannaaw camp bi mu ne.
dafa instruct sergeant bi dana dugg si biir.
ci la jox ndigal
He gave instructions to the sergeant to come inside.
The sergeant bi dugg si.
When the sergeant came in,
ñu ko escort to my office by the guard commander.
He was
to my base guard commander.
He was escorted to the office by my base guard commander.
Then ma laaj ko lan mooy mission am.
Then I asked him what was the purpose of his mission.
mu ne they are there to collect the detainees. ñu fa téye.
He said they were there to collect the detainees, those that were under custody.
What time of the day was this?
It was after working hours.
gannaaw waxtu liggéey.
Then ci laa respond ne ko who gave you the instructions.
ci laa ko laaj ne ko kan moo la jox ndigal boobu.
mu ne Kawsu Kamara ma ne ko call Kawsu Kamara for me.
He said Kawsu Kamara. Then I told him to call Kawsu Kamara for me.
When he went out, called Kawsu Kamara, Kawsu came.
ci la dem ci biti oo Kawsu Kamara ñëw.
This Kawsu Kamara, what did he look like?
Bombalde.
Kawsu Kamara bi moom nu mel.
What did he look like?
Not tall, fair in color.
njoolu noona te dafa xees.
Very lousy.
ku bëri wax.
Proceed.
Then Kawsu came. Mane Kawsu, what are your mission? Mune ma we are here to collect the detainees.
Mune ma ci la Kawsu ñëw ma ne ko Kawsu yow lan mooy seen yoon fii mu ne ma dama ñëw pour jël si ñiñ téye fii.
Na ko kan la jox instructions.
ma ne ko kan moo la jox ndigal bi.
Mune IGP.
mu ne ma IGP.
Na ko waxal IGP call ma.
Then I told him to tell the IGP to call me.
Yow yaa ngi nekk under the army.
Yow
yaa ngi ci doon soldat gi.
You cannot just come to my place ne ma hand over detainees without instructions from the IGP. Tell him to call me.
Manuloo ñëw suma place fii rek nga ne ma jox la ñoo xam ne dama leen fi denc ne ma yóbbu leen te aw ma benn ndigal koolal IG.
mu bëgg a explain ma ne ko no get out of my office.
He wanted to explain, but I told him to get out of my office.
ci la bëggoon a leeral nag man da ko génnal suma office.
Then few minutes later I had a call from the IGP Ousmane Sonko.
ay waxtu ay minutes yu néew rek ma jot benn call bu jógee ko ci Ousmane Sonko di IGP bi.
Not even Commissioner Mbye. Hand over those guys to Kawsu Kamara. What is he amufasa? Nema Commissioner Mbye hand over those guys to Kawsu Kamara.
amul sax teranga cër bu ma jox dafa ne Mbye rek joxal ñooñu Kawsu Kamara.
He was a lieutenant at the time or a captain munuma fàttaliku loolu.
I cannot recall at the time whether he was a lieutenant or a captain.
Did you ask him to send you a letter?
ndax laaj nga ko ne mu yónnee la benn letter.
No. I moved from my office.
I moved from my office
to the guard room.
ma dem ca guard room ba génne suma office.
Book Kawsu's vehicle number in the camp.
ma bind number auto bi Kawsu Kamara amee. ci camp bi
driver's name and then Kawsu with the sergeant.
and turi driver bi nu tudd ak Kawsu ak sergeant bi.
and the detainees.
ak di ñu jàpp foofu.
about to be handed over to them.
ñoo xam ne dañ leen war a jébbal Kawsu.
Then they left. I went back to my office.
ma delluwaat suma office.
But before all that happened,
balaa loolu yëpp di xew.
you remember after the first day, the 8 bodies were discovered.
fàttaliku nga bés bu njëkk bi nga xam ne juróom-ñetti niw yooyu lañ gis.
Do you know where the other bodies were discovered?
ndax xam nga ndax am na yeneen niw yoo xam ne gis nañ leen.
boobu teelaa ko maa ngi ko doon dégg démba from Omar Sidi Kane waaye musta ñëw to my knowledge.
That never came to my knowledge. It was yesterday that I heard it from Omar Siddiq.
Man ko dégg on Skype bi moo testify.
I heard it on Skype when he was testifying.
Ak tey yow ma dégg ko si yow tamit.
ak tey yow it ma déggee ko ci yow.
We have received information from 3 witnesses that some said 1, another person said 2 other bodies were discovered at the forest, and instructions were given, orders were given that they be buried at the forest.
am nañ fi ay seede yoo xam ne ni wax nañ fi ne ñii ñu ne ñaar ñii ki ne benn la nde ndigal bañ amoon moo nekk ne niw yooyu ñu gis nañ leen suul.
xam naa am naa si dégga démba ak tey.
I got to hear it between yesterday and today.
waaye nag.
But
amut kenn ku communicate ak man mbiri bodies yooyu.
Nobody communicated to me about those bodies.
Go ahead.
Amut kenn ku communicate ak man about those 2 bodies or 1 body. Amut.
Nobody communicated to me about 2 bodies or 1 body.
te joxuma kenn instructions pour ñu sul benn body buñ discover foofu.
And I did not give any instructions to anyone to bury the body that they discovered.
loolu nekkul the correct way to go about it.
That is not the correct way to go about it.
Even where to decompose is that invite the public health officers.
Even if it decomposed,
get the recoveries to.
You have to inform the public health officials
for further investigations. The right procedure.
Okay. may ñu leeral foofu noonu ci wolof loolu mu ngi mel ni rek comme bu fekkee ne loola am na donte sax bu fekkee ne niw yooyu dañ yàqu maanaam dañ na woon foog nga oo koo xam ne nii mu ngi liggéey ci buntu wàlli wér-gu-yaram tey tamit nekk na mbir moo xam ne ni dañ ko war a gestu.
The information that we receive is that you gave the order.
bataaxel bi ñu jot nag fii moo nekk ne yow yaa joxe woon ndigal bi.
loolu fen la.
That's a lie.
But wouldn't it be normal that the inspector on the ground, Inspector Drame, who was there, to inform you as the commissioner?
ndax duutoon loo xam ne ni dana jaadu pour inspecteur bi nga xam ne ni moo nekkoon foofu di Inspector Drame pour mu yëgal la ko.
su neglected duty am.
If he has not neglected his duties.
By the right was the man notify.
By right, he should notify me.
And you're saying he did not?
No.
waaye yaa ngi wax ne defut ko.
Is it just possible that you forgot?
Possible.
ndax du rek ne da nga fàtte.
dafa gàtta trop.
It's a short while.
Or you deliberately
wala da nga ko
give
tey.
the impression that it did not happen?
da nga tey rek pour wax ne loolu amut.
God forbid.
Look, we have seen a lot of witnesses sit there and give us all this air of religiosity. And all they do is...
Esa mandongola, imam, duma ustaz.
Yes, I'm a streetwise man. I'm not an imam or Islamic scholar.
Imam.
Not an imam. But I'm telling you what happened.
Are you suggesting that the ndongos are more truthful than the imams?
ndongo yi ñoom ñoo dee gën a wax dëgg ni imam yi.
No.
No. So you deny that you gave the orders to bury these bodies in the reserve?
kon yaa ngi weddi nag ne joxe woon ndigal yi pour ñu suul nag niw yooyu foofu.
That's a lie.
And you acknowledge that that act of burial of the bodies
ndax yaa ngi nangu li nga xam ne ni moo nekk kàddu yi yu dem ci muy niw yooyu.
at the Bad Reserve was unlawful.
ci Bad Reserve bi loolu du doon yoon.
And whosoever is responsible has broken the law.
kan mooy gàddoon nag li nga xam ne ni mooy xeetu loi boobu noonu.
That recommendation should come from the public health officials.
ràññeef googu nag loolu dafa waroon a tukkee ci ñi nga xam ne ñooy liggéey ci wàllu
uniform police officer.
waaye nag du ñi nga xam ne nii ñoo takk tine uniforme.
That is the law.
loolu mooy loi bi.
That is the law.
loolu mooy loi.
But the question is, who gave the order.
laajte bi mooy kan moo joxe ndigal boobu.
The evidence we have from Sedikant is that it came from you, and the other witnesses suggested that, well, they just received the order from their boss who was there.
bataaxel bi nga xam ne moom lañ jëlee nag si Sedikant moo nekk na bataaxel bi ndigal loolu mu ngi tukkee ci yow.
And you claim that you did not know anything about this.
yow nag yaa ngi wax ne amuloo dara loo xam lu jëm ci mbir moom.
Well, the commission would look further into this particular point.
Commission bi nag dana seet nag si yeneen fànn yu dëppoo mbir yooyu.
And arrive at a conclusion.
te tamit danañ ci mën a fas nag benn sottal boo xam ne danañ ko ci mën a mutal.
So where is this book where you recorded the fact that Bombardier, Field Marshal Kausu Kamara, came and received these 3 West African migrants who were detained in your office? Where is that book?
Ana book bi nga xam ne nii foofu ngeen bindoon ne Bombardier Field Marshal Kausu Kamara jël na détenu yi nit ñooñu nga xam ne ñu ngi leen jàppoon foofu ci seen loxo.
Where is that book?
Ana book boobu.
One thing I can assure you.
Diary from Bara.
The diary from Bara.
PIU Kairaba.
PIU Kairaba.
Lima yik.
What I am aware of.
I'm not panel bun formon.
There was a panel that was formed.
Jim Drame alias Ibrahim Drame.
Jim Drame alias
Ibrahim Drame alias Jim Drame.
Ibrahim Drame alias Jim Drame.
And Yankuba Sonko, the present Minister of Interior.
And Yankuba Sonko, the present Ministry of Interior.
Minister of Interior. Panel.
They were part of the panel.
You work on those diaries.
Who works on those diaries?
Laws. Bena state guard in officer.
And one state guard in officer.
Did you watch TRRC proceedings this morning?
TRRC
Yes, I was here.
But did you watch?
No.
Well, there are no televisions in the offices.
No, investigators.
By then I was with the investigators.
So you could not have heard the hearing, the testimony this morning?
No.
So where did you get this information from?
I want you to forgive me, Esa.
Involved activity.
I was part of those who were involved in the activities.
Suma guardroom diary mungfa.
The guardroom diary is there.
Suma way book suma choir book Baba Job's president mungfa.
And also the choir book or the way book that I took to Baba Job's president was there.
Walk out, extract all traces.
And this particular panel that I have mentioned, they were the people who work on all these cases. If they don't tell you this, they won't tell you the truth. There is nowhere you could find a trace.
So, the books that you kept, who gave it to them?
Book yi nga denchon kan mo len ko jox?
If seated in my office, like Masuma diary.
If they come to my office, sit there and ask me the diaries.
July 2005.
From July 2005.
Submit ko.
And I give it to them.
The panel was there and their personnel headquarters knew.
And the panel was there and there are people who came from the headquarters came. Then which means I have an idea of it.
Diary bima surrender. The diary at the time of surrender in it.
The diary that I have gave to them and when it was returned to me back, it was quite different from when I was giving it to them and when it was returned to me.
Did you observe any
What I observe is it is old because you could differentiate between old and new.
Okay, tell us.
Activity, particular diary, activities,
the particular diary of mine, the activities that were in it were not there anymore.
So obviously then go extract?
Then which means it has been extracted, obviously.
Can you tell us who exactly you gave the diaries to?
Panel, was there. Yankuba Sonko was there.
Were you summoned to go and give the diary?
No, not summoned. They were in my office.
They knew in my office.
And who came to your office?
The panel team, both of them come.
From
there, we were summoned again to Kairaba office. Including Falli Jabang.
Do what?
Huh?
What were you called to do there?
At Kairaba?
Yeah.
Threatening us. My personnel threatening them.
What were they saying to them?
They
don't want to hear the lies that were being said outside, so they should keep quiet. There was one of my personnel who was my PIC, 2IC, Alassane Jallo.
Late now.
What happened to him?
From Senegal.
He is late now. There was a particular woman who used to visit him from Senegal. And they were in his office, that's where I used to sit.
Mama Njai.
Is Gesem, I don't know whether it's Mama Njai or I think that person has an interaction. Was the one who really suffered, Alassane.
Mama Njai is the lady who leaked the information about the existence, the presence of the Ghanaians at the PIU. She leaked it to the Ghana embassy.
Mama Njai.
Remember yesterday I read out a paragraph from the report.
Mama Njai moy yotal nak bataxel bobu ci Ghana embassy bi nek ci Sénégal lu jëm ci téway doxandem yoyu ci PIU bi.
I want you to forgive me, but they are human beings. I know you have never visited the PIU. PIU, they have what is called guard room.
The first block.
That is the first block.
The next office more clerk's office. The next office more 2IC's office.
Benen office ni lañ tégg palanté oncle Biran may ñu tuti di la office topalante bo fa duggé first office moy guard room bi benen bi mo nek benen block office bi oncle
Clark office be pare 2IC
Clark bi gannaaw lolu nga am 2IC office bi
sama wañ mo fa nek
behind it there was a kitchen. You cannot keep somebody there.
Comfort la len dugal moy 2IC's office.
The place that is very comfortable. At least that could be a place for them where they can lie down, sit down, and it has a
next to the guard room.
Also, it is next to the guard room, so that if they want to ease themselves, it's a matter of just calling.
But these threats that you and your people received at Kairaba, who issued those threats?
You see, if you are talking to an elderly person, like you are advising the person, but it seems like you are threatening that person. If you joke with the issue, you are joking with your life.
It means that you are threatening me.
Which means you are threatening me.
But who issued those statements? Or those
that address.
Fali has given that address. May God forgive him.
At the rank of 001 or 2 under command.
By then he was in the rank of 002.
Where do you think he got all that power from?
Those who put him in that panel.
And who is those?
That
is the hierarchy.
His postings at the State House.
And also Fali is because he is posted at the State Guard.
So what are you telling us?
What are you telling us? Let's call a spade a spade. Damal yahbi.
Sir, what should I have made it clear. I have nothing to hide.
Bon raja heko.
Under a command. Why nekut under any army deployment outside? Munga state guard.
Wow.
Kokusu nyowe panel bun institute about this Ghanaian Fali Bokal.
Any panel that is instituted pertaining to these Ghanaians, Fali was part of it.
Who sent him?
Kan moko de yoni fo?
Niko trust.
Those who trusted him.
From the big man.
It started from the big man.
Who is the big man here?
My big man be
Big man be my command.
The big man is those who own this command.
Are you afraid to call a name here? Tell us the name. Who is the big man? No. Who's the commander?
No.
Who's the person who deployed him there?
So you want
if you are saying something, you should say something that is clear. I should not say something that I think of.
Under a command.
But I know he's under a command.
At the State House.
And also he's at the State House.
And who's the big man? Who was the big man at the State House?
Big man be State House.
Yes, he has a commander at the State Guard commander.
Are you afraid to say that he was sent there by Yaya Jammeh to represent Yaya
Jammeh?
Maybe.
Are you afraid to say?
Maybe, but I'm not aware that he's sent by Yaya Jammeh. I would have said that if I knew, I would have said that he's sent by Yaya Jammeh.
But you have told
under a commander with responsible military intelligence.
But I am fully aware that he is under a command who is responsible for the military intelligence.
We have received evidence on that, and the suggestion was that he was sent there by State House, by the president, to be his ears and eyes.
Am nañ bataaxel bu mel noonu loo xam ne ni wane na tax ne de moom ñu ko yónni woon foofu di président bi si boppam pour mu nekk fa bëtam nekk fa noppam.
From all you know, is that conclusion reasonable?
Ak lépp li nga xam daal ndax loolu méngoo naag moom.
Is that conclusion reasonable?
Am nga lu leer yang man.
Ndax loolu dal na.
Sir, what you said to me is very clear to you yourself.
Was that what you were telling me?
The panel bi man de ñëw suma office te gis naa ne panel bi seen tuwaay yëpp suma office yëpp Fally Jabang mu ngi bokk.
The panel has been coming to my office, even plus my twice.
First one, second one, yëpp mu ngi bokk.
And the first time, second time, all Fally Jabang was part of it.
Those, well, advice that you received or directions that you received, indirectly, what were they telling you to do?
Dénku yooyu nga xam ne ni jotoon nga ko ci beneen fànnan noo ko gisee.
ci ban fan
lan lañ la doon jéem a wax.
lan lañ la doon jéem a wax.
Were they telling you to keep your mouth shut?
Ndax dañ la doon wax nga noppi.
loolu esa leer na nañ.
That is very clear.
mooy nga mooy bu kenn wax mbir bi.
That is to say, no one should talk about the issue.
waaye xam nga mbir mi dinañ ko wax.
But you should know that the issue will be discussed.
man maa yow ñun ñaar dinañ ko ngumtu.
If two of us stand and we are discussing, we must mention it.
So des na rek pour nga am ko óolu kooku mun a waxtaanal.
It all depends on the person that you want to discuss the issue, whether the person you trusted him or not.
Would you say that the government was on a massive cover-up when they came to your office to pick up those documents and doctored them at Kairaba station?
Ndax da nga mën a wax ne tamit nguur gi ci ak nëbbatu wala ak al nëbbu musal seen bopp kese moom lañ doon def ci jamono bi ñëwee sa office pour jël kayit yooyu yóbbu ko Kairaba dal di xotti yenn yi génne ci leen li ci bëgg a génne.
boobu bàyyi ma leeral foofu.
Wait, I want to make that area very clear.
dañ collecté diary ndax Kairaba lañ ko yóbbu ndax yóbbuñ ko Kairaba ndax police headquarters lañ ko yóbbu.
When they collected the diary, whether it is taken to Kairaba, NIA, or the police headquarters, I'm not sure of that. But I know very well my personnel who were involved in the activities.
Some of withdrawn and back to base.
I have withdrawn some of them back to the base.
Then you discussion.
And the panel made discussions with
From
them.
there, I'm not time when you Kairaba, we went to Kairaba.
And from there too, we were called at Kairaba and we went there.
Did you provide your personnel to rewrite the diaries?
ndax waatoon nga sa nit yooyu noonu doon liggéey salon pour ñu bindaat daayira bi sottande ko waat ko.
bokkuma si panel.
I was not part of a panel.
Panel be ko def.
That one is done by the panel.
So the panel bi wax na defuñ loolu dañoo fen waxuñ la dëgg.
The panel told you that they never did so. They are lying to you.
Yankuba Sonko, honorable minister, he appeared before the commission and he said he did not know that the diaries were doctored.
Yankuba Sonko nga xam ne ni jamono yi sax mooy ministre bi saytu wàlli doxalini bi réew mi ak kaaraange mbiri police di interior ministre bi teew na fii ci kanam commission bi ne yëgut ne daayira yooyu noonu dal di woon nañ leen xotti génne ci liñ ci bëggoon a génne sottande ko ko.
liggéey naa moom.
I have worked with him.
am na high regard pour moom.
I have a very high regards for him.
waaye su dëgg teewee na nga ko wax.
When it is time to state the truth, I will. That is not true.
Are you suggesting that he lied?
It
is very harsh to say so, but what he has stated is not true.
So is it harsh to call things by their correct names?
No. Why? Na jox on ma tuuti rek. Waaye li ma la wax moo am.
But no, let me just give courtesy.
So inviting and
also, if he invited other people to state the truth, they will say this is what has happened.
Ibrahim Jim Drame was here yesterday.
Ibrahim Jim Drame, on
and he said if the diaries were doctored, he didn't know anything about it.
I was watching him. He is my younger brother. I was watching him, but what he has stated here is not true. He should have stated the truth.
He lied.
He lied.
It's not harsh. It's not harsh this time to say he lied. It's not harsh this time to say he lied.
He is my brother, younger brother.
Okay, all right. How would you describe what has happened in this saga? This saga, this whole issue about the West African
What happened is that it is something that is very strange.
How fan la information joge bu different ak ñi migrants lañ.
I don't know where the information came from that make the difference that these people were migrants.
Yan advisor ñoo joxe yoyu.
I don't know who were those advisors who gave this advice. But I know very well that the day of judgment, they will have a very big issue on that day.
We have heard that at the Marine unit, some people were saying that these were mercenaries.
dégg nañ ne am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi doon wax ne ci marine unit bi ne ñii ay mercenaires lañ di ay ndaw yoo xam ne dañ leen ebal fay leen pour ñu xeex réew.
boobu xanaa mu nekk ñu ngi ko doon discussé sa biir office o feneen fu ma nekkut man.
Maybe they were discussing it in a particular office or an area there where I was not present.
Man maa ngi yóbbu woon PIU truck laa yóbbu woon.
For me personally, I drive a PIU truck. I climb up of the truck, upstairs of the truck to see inside the truck.
So I mean, Marine unit is not a wide place.
If you knew the Marine unit very well, you will know that it is not a wider place. Even when you are outside, you will see. So when the DIG came out, to discuss with him, that was the time I alighted from the vehicle.
At the Marine unit, they are they are mercenaries.
But at the marine unit, I have never heard that these people were mercenaries. I don't know exactly where that advice is sorted from, but it is something very strange.
So you are describing the whole situation, how you saw it.
Yeah, it is very puzzling. Yes, sir. It is very puzzling, as you have stated. There is no need for us to say it long. Where are they? Unless the one who escaped and sat here to give his testimony. Where are the others? Where have you had their trace? Where were they located?
What do you believe happened?
Is it that we don't have a court here that where they can stand for trials? How can they just come and just kill them like that?
Last two questions. When you and your people were being threatened at the PIU, including by Fali Jamang, who else was present?
Jamono biñ leen doon tikku yow yak say nit ñi bokk sax nak di Fali Jamang ak kana fa teewon
Fali was there with the panel.
But the panel is not some object. Who is this panel? Tell us names.
A piece of advice. Why piece of advice? And
who was that?
No, Fali Jabang, IG Mungfa.
IG who?
Assistant Minister of Interior. Jim Drame Mungfa.
Let's get the names one by one.
Jim Drame Mungfa.
Okay, Ibrahima Jim Drame was there.
Yankuba Sonko Mungfa.
Yankuba Sonko is there.
Fali Jabang Mungfa.
Fali Jabang is there.
Okay, we want to know who did what.
I am not 100% sure of Kini Usman Jallo. Why I believe one of the panels Bokana.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know that one of the panels,
either Kairaba or PIU.
Usman Jallo is part of it.
Wow. If my memory serves me well.
So when you were being threatened, was Yankuba Sonko and Jim Drame present?
Ci jamono biñ leen doon tikku Yankuba Sonko ak Jim Drame ndax ñu fa won?
Bi Fali di joxe that cautionary advice.
When Fali was giving that cautionary advice, they were there.
It was not a cautionary advice. It was a threatening violence. Because if you joke with this, it can cost your life. But we do cautionary advice.
Bim leen waxee ne leen su ngeen caaxaanee mbir mi muy war a seen feneen loolu yéen seen bakkan ngeen ay foyee mooy loolu duutoon ay kàddu yu ndénkaane de loolu ay tikku la woon.
Mr. Chair, I'll just leave it at that for now. No further questions.
Mr. Chair, lead counsel mu ne amatul benn laajte bu mu laa laaj jébal na la léegi ki jiite pencum TRRC.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and thank you, Mr. Biran Mbye, for your testimony.
Jërëjëf Counsel, jërëjëf Mr. Biran Mbye ci sa teewaay.
Jërëjëf sa wàlla.
Thank you too.
If you have any questions, yeah,
mu ngi laaj commissioner si kilifa yi bokk si pencum TRRC kenn ci ñoom ndax am na laajte bu mu la war a laaj.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mbye.
Jërëjëf Chairman, jërëjëf Mr. Mbye. Commissioner Jones moo la laaj.
I just wanted you to make one clarification for our records.
Dama bëgg rek ñu leeral dara ci suñu mbind.
You said when Kausa Kamara came to your office.
Wax nga ne benn Kausa Kamara ñëw na sa office.
He told you that the IGP asked him to come and pick up some of the detainees.
Mu ne IGP moo ko jox ndigal pour mu ñëw jël si ñooñu nga xam ne ay woy denc lañ woon.
And you mentioned the name of the IGP, who you said called you.
Nga xam ne ni tudd nga fi turi IGP bi ki la mu oola.
Can you please restate the name of the IGP, please?
Ndax mun nga ñoo waxaat nag IGP boobu naka la tudd ci jamono boobu.
Ousmane Sonko.
Ousmane Sonko.
Ousmane Sonko.
Okay, thank you.
Jërëjëf.
Thank you. There are no further questions, and if you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to do so now.
Léegi nag kilifa yi seq pencum TRRC amu keneen ku la ci war a laaj mu ne léegi nga wax nag sa kàddu yi ndénkaane kàddu yi ngay mujjentale sa jotaay fii ci TRRC bi.
If I have something to say, it will not be that much. This country is very small. And whatever has happened to your parlor, it will slip outside the street. So it's better we have to be careful.
Wow. By hell more one.
We have to be careful. And there are certain things that has been happening here. We should be very careful with it. That is to say, the tribal land. It has no space here. I want you people to forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Mbye, and again, thanks for coming to testify.
Mr. Chair, just a moment, before we wrap it, there is an important issue we need to clear here.
Mr. Mbye, Chairman, lead counsel mu ne am na lu am solo luñ fi bëgg a leeral rek balaa ñooy tëj jotaay bi.
And with your indulgence, perhaps I should just ask the witness to clarify that particular point.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Mbye.
Mr. Mbye.
At that time, who was IGP? Was it Esa Baji or Yankuba Sonko? Or Usman Sonko?
Kan mo nekkoon njiiti police yi.
When this panel was sitting, who actually called you? Was it Esa Baji or was it Usman Sonko?
Esa Baji la wala Usman Sonko?
Forget about the position.
If
my memory can serve me very well. When the panel was about to be formed, by then Usman Sonko was no longer the IG. When they were forming the panel, by then Usman Sonko was not the IG. But when the migrants were coming and when their bodies were being recovered, Usman Sonko was the IG.
Who was the person who called you on the phone and instructed you to give the migrants to
this was Usman Sonko.
Okay, at that time he was IGP.
Was the IGP.
IGP.
Thank you very much.
We will end our proceedings here for today and resume tomorrow at 10 o'clock sharp.
Kon fi la ñu émalé jotaay bi ba ëllëg ci suba inshallah.